Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. You're here on the home of the slightly above average ship review. Got a video today for the current campaign ship Lushun. We are on Scandinavia in a domination match. I will apologize for the sound of my air conditioning machine in the background. I can't live without that conditioned air. Alright, we are top tier in the Lushun. Let's go over the ship history, of which really there is none, from wiki.wargaming.net. Blah, blah, blah. The Soviets shared the blueprints of promising warships with China. In particular, they received technical documentation on a Project 41 destroyer. They did not build that. However, they built 15 051 class or Luda class missile destroyers based off of Project 41, which is New Strashimi. And so this is, I guess, the fictional Project 41 destroyer using later technology. So pretty much a little less made up than I alluded to in posts and videos, but generally speaking, the ship never existed, and as you can see, it looks very modern when you're looking at the design. Very sleek, low to the water, got like this big sonar radar tower in the front, sonar tower. Really quickly, shell velocity 950 meters per second, HE and AP. The shell weight 33 kilos for HE, 33.4 kilos for armor piercing, max dispersion 110 meters. WoW's builds was not working, so I don't know if this ship is in WoW's builds. Legends, it's in WoW's builds, but since we're playing Legends, that doesn't do us any good. We are moving into the cap, and I will say I rag a lot on other destroyer players. I was playing some other matches today where the destroyers were totally fighting from the spawn, and I don't agree with that, but I will concede that we were radared twice in this match, and I can understand why a less confident, less bold, less cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs player might not be comfortable with doing what I do in a destroyer, which, to be fair, doesn't work almost half the time. My winning percentage, 54%. I play more of a risky play style. There's more detection capability at the higher tiers than ever before, including the ship we're in right now. So, real quick note about this sonar. It is 5.4 kilometers, essentially the same as, and I'm going to forget the name of the of the tier 7 ship, which I would basically just consider this. Even though that tier 7 is a Fletcher class, I would consider this essentially the same thing. All right, here we are engaging the only destroyer on the enemy team, Kitakaze. Immediately hit my smoke screen, immediately engage my sonar, immediately throw it into reverse. And this is basically a clinic on how to smoke sonar the enemy destroyer. He's spotted, he deployed smoke. It is meaningless because I have my sonar going, and my sonar is 5.4 km. Because we're backing up, we're going to dodge the first set of torpedoes easily, and I'm just going to focus on making sure my shells hit. You can see the accuracy starts to fade a little bit here, which was kind of disappointing. But just by continuing to back up, right there, we totally missed. We do manage to dodge both sets of torps. There's another miss, and another miss. And then we finally finish them off for first blood, kill number 1 in the Lushun. So now that we've killed the enemy destroyer, we are free to devastate the enemy team. And this is literally the best kind of situation you can be in Lushun. I guess maybe I could not be a knob and go try to look up the other destroyer we're talking about. 7 Pan Asian DD. And it's embarrassing that I don't know this. The Loyang. There we go. So essentially, I would consider this, for all intents and purposes, just a Russian Loyang. So here we're getting sonar. We had to run away. Peter Baggs did not like what we were up to. I keep saying sonar when I mean radar. I keep saying radar when I mean sonar. No excuses. You deserve a slightly above average review, and you're getting it. So yeah, we had to run away there. It's disappointing. You got to be prepared for that, manage that. I think I was kind of ready for it to happen, and we weren't especially close, so it was easier to create the space. The first match I played, this is the second match. First match I played with Lushun, I was about to say Loyang. There were a lot of cruisers. It was hard to maintain distance in that one. So you do have much longer range torpedoes than Loyang. Please use them to your advantage and stay on the outer edges of the radar of the enemy cruisers. And hey, if you don't know what their range is, I would say just start with 7 km and work outwards. Some of them will have longer radar. You'll have to deal with it, Unless you want to get a chart of every radar of every ship in the game and review it before you go into a match. I personally think that's a little too much. That's a bridge too far. All right. We torped at Peter Baggs, and he was agile enough to dodge. So I'm going to move on to more fruitful targets, more ponderous, slow-moving targets. Battleships. And again, this is where, you should be making your money. Your deep-water torpedoes won't hit enemy destroyers. Don't bother firing it at them. And cruisers are a little too agile. So you want matches with lots of battleships because that's going to allow you to do the damage. And I know you're thinking, hey, KPZ, this thing had a really quick reload. Is this a gunboat? My answer to you is no, it is not a gunboat, and we will talk about why. All right. We'll talk about why in the port. That's what I meant to say. So we are engaging battleships. We've got deep water torpedoes. If you're not familiar with deep water torpedoes because you're a new player, they are generally pretty stealthy. They hit not the hardest in the game, but they do hit pretty hard. But the big thing is their stealth, something called torpedo reaction time, which is the time the ship commander of the enemy ship has to react once your torpedoes are spotted. These torpedoes have a detectability, if I'm remembering correctly, of 800 meters. So they aren't fast, 69 knots, but because they are stealthy and they have long range, that enemy ship commander is going to have a delayed torpedo reaction time or a shorter torpedo reaction time than he would for much faster torpedoes like Japanese torpedoes. So again, just remember, you can't shoot them at enemy destroyers. You can. They'll go right under the destroyer. Believe it or not, torpedoes can be set to go different heights in the water. In the Battle of, I think, Samar, whenever Task Force 3 engaged the Japanese center force, because the Japanese thought the ships they were engaging were bigger ships than they actually were, a lot of their torpedoes went under the ships because they set the depth of the torpedoes too low. All right, we got some strikes on the Musashi. We are radared again, and I don't know who. Carl Johan is almost 9 kilometers away, and he doesn't have radar. So someone radared me, and I'm not smart enough to know who. And we're getting punished right there. And we did get a couple extra torp strikes. We're just over 100,000 damage. Yes, I know smoke screens don't do a lot, but as soon as you get out of range of that radar, it helps you stay concealed. And another great thing about this ship that makes it very OP is that it has really lengthy smoke screens. So you've got a pretty good sonar for a destroyer. You've got a very lengthy smoke screen that deploys for 30 seconds and it's up for 70 seconds. You've got 11-kilometer deep water torpedoes that are very stealthy that do pretty good damage. You've got a fast reloading main battery, which isn't as great as it seems, and we'll talk about that in the port. Really, your biggest weakness, aside from your guns, is your AA. I think this ship has enough AA to make someone who's not very good at carriers maybe pick another target, but unfortunately I don't think it's good enough to make a skilled carrier commander find a different target. So if you're going up against a carrier expert, he's going to harass you and you're going to have a tough day. That's just my opinion, because the AA of the ship is right around 50, and so I think that's good enough to defend yourself, but against a concerted attack, especially to either a Russian or a British carrier, you might have a bad day. All right, we torped out on Musashi, who split off to try to catch us unawares. That is not going to happen, Mr. Musashi. So, GFYS. We are turning our attention to Giuseppe Verdi. And I'm not really mad at the Musashi player, to be honest. He didn't do anything wrong. We're turning our attention to Giuseppe Verdi simply because by playing on the outside, as the Musashi dodges my torps, I can only shoot at Musashi, but playing to the inside between these two ships, I can alternate targeting the Verdi and any ship over here to my starboard side, as well as Musashi to my port. We got a Hawk over there. I think maybe the Hawk is the one who radared me. Maybe. Anyway, we are waiting for our reload. We do have the torpedo launcher in mod slot 4, and I think you need it for the reload. By the way, there is a really nice hit. 3 torpedo strikes on Verdi. I think he puts out the flood immediately, but we were about to get a reload. So here in a minute, I am going to gauge his movement and lead him just a titch. Okay, or we're not going to lead him at all. I thought I was going to lead him. Maybe not. All right, so look, the capability for damage is there definitely because you've got strong torpedoes. Just know that you're going to have to kill enemy destroyers with your guns. We are radared or sonared for the 3rd time. And because I'm spotted, there's really no downside to me shooting at Musashi. Just trying to set him on fire. Unfortunately, it caused him to turn out. So I'm like, yeah, this isn't fun anymore. We get the kill on Giuseppe Verdi. And I think here in a minute I'm going to hit another smoke screen just to prevent from being shot. And because our smoke screen is up, you will see that salvo from Musashi went harmlessly over the ship and did not hit anything. We're going to torp right here at Hawk, and hopefully that goes well. And then we're going to reverse our turn here and go out and try to engage Musashi again. Because why not? I'm trying to kill all these ships, man. I talked about it in some of my other videos. You got to have a plan to kill every ship, and we're going to kill them with torpedoes. And so I've got to get in range to engage these guys. All right, sorry, the Hawk is dead. That's Carl Johan. And Carl Johan must be smarter than the average bear, because he pretty much comes to a stop immediately after I launch my torpedoes. So those torpedoes are going to hit the island out of Carl Johan and not do anything. All right, we're torping at Musashi. There you can see Carl Johan, full stop. Those torpedoes are going to miss. Second salvo going towards Musashi, and we're just hoping to take him out. As you can see, the blue team is beating the red team pretty handily. We do have a ship lead. We also had, I think, 3 caps for quite a bit of the game. So our losing really isn't going to happen unless somebody gets spotted, like me, and gets killed. All right, torps moving in on Musashi. I was hoping to get 3. We'll settle for 2 and the high caliber medal. And then as soon as I get my reload, I'm going to gauge and launch. As soon as I get my reload. All right, there it is, out. And I'm hoping to squeeze it in. We are under 1 minute remaining in the match. We're at 165,000 total damage. And I'm like, at this point, it does not matter anymore. So I'm going to engage Musashi with my guns. And we set him on fire, which is quite amazing to me. Just at 5% fire chance. with this HE. And I'm just trying to set him on fire one more time. One of my teammates finishes off the Johan. And so I'm hoping my Torps can finish off Musashi. Here they come. I'm getting ready. And no, the match ends. Oh, it hurts. All right, here we are on my favorite screen, the victory screen. First blood medal, high caliber medal, 174,459 total damage. Over 100 main battery hits, 12 torpedo strikes, 2 big kills. We set 10 floods, 1 cap defended flag, 1 solo base cap. We ended up with 477,291 silver, over 6,200 ship XP, over 6,600 commander XP in the campaign ship Lushun. All right, team result. Here we are at the top of the board. 2 medals, 2 big kills, 3125 base XP. Is the Lushun overpowered? Yes. Yes, it is. And I predict that they will continue to release overpowered ships to get people to buy the campaign, and then they'll just nerf them later on and say, oh, we had to nerf it. Balance. I'm surprised they haven't done it more with the premiums. But, yeah. Very OP ship. If you love sneaky destroyers, I recommend building this as a sneaky destroyer. All right, here in the port, upgrades. Aiming system mod 1. Propulsion mod 2. Concealment system mod 1, and Wargaming interrupts to tell you about the milestones, and torpedo launcher mod 3. In terms of the loadout, you've got 4 charges of the smoke generator, 70-second smoke screen dispersion time. 4 charges. That's a really powerful thing to use. 2 sonars, 5.4 kilometers for enemy ships. Again, very powerful. And let's throw in 2 charges of the repair party. Rare battle booster for movement speed and cooldown time. And we got that permanent Type 9 camo and the unique Lushun flag. Moving on to the specs, 18,500 hit points, so that's kind of a downer compared to some other ships. 2 twin 130 turrets, 10.7 kilometer firing range, 1.9 second reload, 10-second turn time. Look at this shell damage. HE shells 1,300 max damage with a 5% fire chance. AP shells 2,000 max damage. That low damage is why I wouldn't consider these to be a great gunboat. Torpedo launchers, 2 quad launchers, or quintuple tube launchers, pardon me. They reloaded me 91.3 seconds with our build. Max damage looks like 18,471. 11 kilometer range, 69 knots, detectability 800 meters. I would build into the torpedoes, just one man's opinion. AA defense, as discussed, not great. Your main battery is dual purpose. It is your longest reaching AA. Your best AA are the 57 millimeter Type 66 guns. Maneuverability, 39.7 knots in the water, 700 meter turning circle, a not great 4.6 second rudder shift time. Concealment, 4.9 on the surface, 2.8 from the air, 2.6 when firing from smoke. Here's our battle results so far. Main battery accuracy, 55%. Torpedo accuracy, 6%. We've won both our games. Kill death ratio of 1.5. Average damage, over 100,000. The last game you saw our best game in terms of damage and base XP. So a very strong ship. Armor viewer, you do have a 20 millimeter hull, so factor that in if you want to do math. Anyway, here's our commander, fully ranked out for your pleasure, Deng Shichang. Minus 3% detectability, plus 3% torpedo damage. Really works great in this ship. We got Bay and Swirsky, so double concealment inspirations. Row 1, subsurface venture. Row 2, look at me now. Row 3, perceptive. Row 4, destroyer be destroyed. I just don't think the trade-off is worth it for Knuckle Duster, especially the incapacitation of the modules. Well, I mean, I just don't think that's worth it for the loss and damage. Just one man's opinion. And of course, unstoppable is our legendary skill. Hope you enjoyed this video of the campaign ship. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Tell me what you think about the ship in the comments. I would love to hear your opinion. Thank you for watching.